Hello, this is the Happy Families podcast. We're trying to record this and we have a child who is going in the background because she wants us and we can't do it. This is family life. We're trying to keep it as real for you as we possibly can. How do you have hard conversations about tricky topics when kids don't want to talk to you, or when you're reading a parenting book and the script just doesn't make sense? Talk about that with Older Better Tomorrow today, and family photos. They often feel, what's the word, Kylie? Disastrous?
Just hard work.
Just hard
work.
We might have just nailed family photos, but there's a story behind it, and we're going to share that with you next as well. It's I'll Do Better Tomorrow, our Friday edition of the Happy Families podcast, right after this. Hello and welcome to the Happy Families podcast, where you get real parenting solutions every single day. This is Australia's most downloaded parenting podcast. We are Justin and Kylie Coulson. We're the parents of 6 children, 6 daughters and 1 granddaughter. And Kylie, you're going to kick us off today with... No, actually, I'm going to kick us off today. There are 2 things that I quickly need to share with you. The first was a conversation that I had with Emily, our 11-year-old, the other day. She wanted to know about money. She was trying to understand something about compensation. But that's not what she was asking about. She was asking me about constipation.
I couldn't work out how that had anything to do with money.
She's like, Dad, I can't remember the sentence that she led into it with, but she, like I said, financially oriented, and she started talking about constipation. And I just thought, this is brilliant. This is absolutely brilliant. I love it. Constipation, compensation. What's the difference? Also, a quick email. We get emails most days, podcasts at happyfamilies.com.au. We love hearing from you about what's going on in your life or what you're enjoying on the pod. Brooklyn from New Zealand was kind enough to pop into our inbox a couple of days ago after catching up on our wedding anniversary podcast episode where you forgot the anniversary and I gave you a hard time, and we just laughed our way through the 5 things that have made our marriage great and then the 2 things that you decided to add on the back of it. Hey, Justin, Kylie and team, just wanted to pop in and say today's episode about your anniversary was hilarious. Thanks for the genuine laugh out loud in my kitchen laughs. I especially love Justin's theme song. Justin needs to stop being such a sook. It's something he could put in a parenting book. Oh, I'm never going to live that down. I'm not a sook. The kids are still walking around the kitchen singing it. In fact, they know that it upsets me and that I start sooking when they do it. And so they just... Justin needs to stop being such a sook is all they're going to play it at my funeral.
I think they will.
Like your theme song. It's so good. Everybody loves it. She's Kylie Coulson, turning chaos into grace. Little Indy, our granddaughter, walks around the house. She's Kylie. Like everyone thinks you're amazing. And I'm such a sook.
Oh, we might have to rectify that then, I think.
Anyway, Brooklyn says, I love Justin's theme song. I don't think that'll ever be forgotten, not least by your own family. You're both real and helpful. I love listening to the podcast. Happy anniversary. Hope you have a great day. Brooklyn, thank you for that. Oh, we should do a quick anniversary update. That was not part of the run sheet for today, but let's just chuck it in anyway. What did you plan, hun?
I decided to drive you crazy.
Literally.
Yeah. We
jumped onto the go-kart track.
I've been go-karting once with you when we very first got married, and it scared the living daylights out of me.
Yep.
We were with a large group of people who were very competent, and here was me driving Miss Daisy around the track. I was too scared. So I decided to give it another go.
Yep, and that was fun. So we went go-karting. I lapped you.
You did?
I lapped you. I was expert level, I think. But that was a lot of fun. Okay, let's hear your I'll Do Better Tomorrow. This is family photos. Family photos last weekend.
Family photos don't happen enough in our house.
Oh, no. They have happened way too many times.
The reason they don't happen enough is because it is so tricky.
There's just
making sure that there's 8 people who are all smiling at the same time and actually have I
need to wind this back a bit.
Good demeanor.
Yeah, so it starts with what am I going to wear? So for anyone who has a daughter, you know what it's like. What am I going to wear? We have 6 daughters who are all saying, what am I going to wear? And it's torture. And
I have been trying to coordinate what everyone was going to wear for about 3 weeks. Whenever we were all together.
I was going to say almost 3 decades is what you've been trying to coordinate.
Well, yes, but for these ones specifically. And every time, at least one child would kind of come to the party and say, maybe I could wear this or this. And the challenge is everybody can make a decision, but until you see everybody together, you don't know if it's all going to work. And it was about an hour before we were supposed to leave for our location, and everyone starts going, Mum, can you come and tell me what to wear?
Yep.
It was a bit stressful.
3 weeks of text messages, and let's work it out an hour before. Anyway, you got everyone standing together against the wall and looking at us and taking photos of us in the living room just to make sure it matched, and you were satisfied enough after a couple of additional clothing changes. So we jumped in the car and drove to where the photographer told us to meet. It had been raining all day. It was cloudy. We wanted the sunset. And guess what? La!
We got it. We got it. But not before little Indy fell asleep on the drive.
Because family photos are not easy. And you know, it's like when you wake up a toddler and you're like, now smile for the camera.
She was not happy. But what I wanted to share was how sometimes in family life, we're kind of seeing things happen around us. And on this particular day, as I was watching the photographer, she was telling us, oh my gosh, this is gorgeous. You guys are making this so easy. This is great. Perfect. You know, she was giving us all the affirmation we needed. But for me as a participant, I was standing there thinking, this just feels really ordinary. There's nothing special in this moment. And as we were leaving that day, she said to me, she said, oh, that was great. And I said, do you think we got the money shot? I told her exactly what I wanted. And she said, oh, Kylie, she said, you got lots of money shots. But I still didn't believe her. And so that night when she went home, she actually just sent me a quick snap. She'd taken a photo of the photo on her computer screen. So she said, don't look at the faces. She said, I'm just showing you the vista. This is what you've got. And oh my gosh. Not only did I have no idea what the sunset was doing behind us as she was taking those photos, but it was like this one brief moment in time captured, and all my joys kind of just accumulated into one small moment. I just felt so grateful. I love watching our family grow, and we've now got these 2 men in our picture on top of you.
Well, they weren't actually on top of
that
you.
again.
Yeah.
Two extra men.
That's right. Yes.
We've only had 1 man in our photos, and now we have 3. And to see the joy that they bring to our daughters' lives and bring to us, it just feels like all of those tricky moments in life have led us to this joyful moment.
Makes you emotional.
It does make me emotional because, like I said, you kind of miss it all unless somebody's there reminding you to actually stop for just a moment and take it in. It's so easy to get caught up in all of the crazy of family life. So my take home is just take a moment, take stock.
Take photos.
And take photos.
Yeah. Can I add a little note there as well? Two quick things about the family photos. Number one, it was the first time ever that we haven't had any major fights during family photos with the kids getting upset with each other or saying, that's it, I've had enough photos, no more photos.
As we were sitting around the table, they actually commented, this was the best family photos ever.
And I was like, we're older. Everyone's older now than they've ever been. Like everyone's learnt how to regulate their emotions.
We nearly have a full sweep of adults.
That's right.
We shouldn't have any issues.
And I'm yet to see the photo, but we did get a boys' photo. We've never had a boys' photo before. But there was me with the 2 sons-in-law. And they're both about 15 centimetres taller than me.
You were pretty short.
I'm this tiny little kid in between these 2 giant men. After the break, figuring out how to have tricky conversations about difficult topics in a way that brings the kids in. It's always a surprise, but it can be done. I'll tell you how next on the Happy Families podcast. Stay with us. We're back. This is the Happy Families podcast. Thank you so much for choosing to spend your Friday morning with us. We hope that this is making your family happy, or at least letting you know that your family's no different to all the other families. That is, life can be tricky. So I haven't shared this at the start of the pod, and I probably should have, but I've done another draft of my book, and this week I finally finished it. And this is the absolute last draft because the book gets printed and published and put on shelves in about 2 months. It comes out June 16. What are we up to? 2.5 months, and it's going to be on shelves. So the last few weeks I've been doing a final draft, and it ended up being a fairly major overhaul of the book. But the book is done. The book is done. The book is done.
The angels are singing.
My goodness, the book is done.
We're singing.
So I was writing this this chapter about talking to kids about consent and intimacy and how to have difficult conversations, Kylie, and really, really tough topic to write about. And I'm trying to say, well, how do we have these chats with our kids? And I wrote the following about starting the conversation. I said, I'm an ambassador for the Australian government's Consent Can't Wait campaign. Government research shows big holes exist in parent conversations with kids on this tricky topic. That's because we make it too big of a deal. So instead, make it simple, dumb it down. A 10-minute chat while driving can be more effective than an hour-long formal discussion. A consistent Sunday morning check-in is valuable. Use media as gateways. When sexual content appears in movies, TV, or social media, use it as a discussion starter, whether it's problematic or uplifting content. So I've written that, and I was just thinking, it feels empty, it feels trite. Do parents really do this? And as we were driving to family photos, I was driving Spotify as well as the car. I decided that I was in charge of the music rather than the kids. And John Lennon's 1971 classic, Jealous Guy, came on Spotify. And I turned it up and I said, oh, this is such a good song. And then about 30 seconds in, I was like, actually, I like Brian Ferry, Roxy Music. I think that's the better one. So I put that on instead. And as the song was playing out, I'm sure everybody knows it. Because of copyright, we can't play it on the podcast, but I'm sure everyone knows the lyrics. I didn't mean to hurt you. I'm sorry that I made you cry. I didn't want to hurt you. I'm just a jealous guy. So the chorus is playing, and our 15, soon-to-be 16-year-old daughter is sitting in the back, and she says, that sounds like that's a pretty dodgy lyric, Dad. And I paused. I was like, hang on, this is a classic. This song's been around since 1971 or 1981 for the cover. And I wanted to just burn her. I don't know, but that's probably too strong, but I wanted to put her in a place. I was like, there's nothing dodgy about this. This is really good. And then Lily said to me, well, hang on a sec. Here's a guy who's refusing to be accountable for his actions. He hurt her, and now he's saying, oh, I didn't mean to. I'm just a jealous guy. Like, he's downplaying the impact of his behavior and the way that it's affecting her, and he's hurt her.
What I loved was that you actually then asked her, explain to me what you mean. And she said, well, if I was dating a guy and then I went and spent some time just chatting with another guy and he gets upset with me and treats me poorly and then apologizes because he's jealous, she said, that's poor excuse for treating me poorly. Like, I don't deserve to be treated like that. I've done nothing wrong. And he doesn't have the right to treat me that way.
I found it really just a fascinating conversation. It showed perhaps a generational divide. It also showed that context is everything. In fact, I ended up following the conversation up with her the next day because I couldn't let it go. Like, it got under my skin. It was like a knuckle noogie, knuckles going into my ribs. I was like, we're so much more alert today to things like coercive control and possessiveness and the emotional dynamics of unhealthy relationships. And jealousy is one of the most commonly cited precursors to intimate partner violence. And I didn't mean to hurt you is a phrase in 2026 that carries a whole lot of baggage that it probably just didn't carry previously. But, and this is what I said to Lily, there's also a counter reading here. And I'm not trying to downplay what she's saying because it's relevant and it matters. And if you've been in that situation, then it's impactful. But the counter reading could show a shift in the culture where once this was a tender and emotionally sensitive guy, a guy who's actually brave enough to name his jealousy. And And now we're saying, well, he's dangerous. Whereas once upon a time, we would have said, oh, no, good on him, because he's realized that his jealousy is leading him to act in unhelpful ways. And so then we had this fascinating conversation about the difference between acknowledging feelings and that, or using them as an excuse for harmful behavior. No Sunday morning chat needed. No formalized discussion, just an impromptu chat because of a song lyric that came up. And as I walked away from that, I thought to myself, these conversations are easier than we often make them out to be. We can have tough conversations about just about anything. You see something on the telly, you hear something on a podcast, you listen to a song lyric. There's just so many opportunities for really great conversations with the kids. And you can come back to them later and say, hey, I was thinking about that thing that you said, and I really think that there was wisdom, or I think you missed the mark. Like, there's so many opportunities for great conversations with our kids if we'll take them. And I don't know, I just got very, very excited about talking to my daughter about a classic 1971, 1981 song.
I think the reason why this worked so well, though, is because Lily was at the lead. She actually wanted to engage in this. And the challenge we sometimes have with our kids is that if we're the ones who are constantly initiating the conversation, then it just feels
forced,
like, oh, mum and dad want to teach me again, or mum and dad are giving me a lecture, or... So finding the middle ground is really important. Yeah.
I still feel like I had to make sure that she knew as well that just because somebody hurts you doesn't mean that you should close the door on them forever. Like, people make mistakes.
I think,
and she agreed, context is everything.
Yeah, the context matters. We're listening to this crooning song, and it's very easy to kind of see one side to it. But until you're actually in the experience,
family life is stretching. Family life is stretching. Anyway, we really hope that you've enjoyed the podcast today. Thank you so much for listening to the Happy Families podcast, which is produced by Justin Rulon from Bridge Media. Mim Hammonds provides all of our additional admin and other support. And if you'd like more info to make your family happier, we would love for you to visit us at happyfamilies.com.au. We'll see you back on Monday on the pod. Have a great weekend.
She's Kylie Colson, turning chaos into grace, building happy little worlds in this one big busy place. 6 daughters at the table, future is shining like the stars. She said you're already enough, just the way you are, yeah. And they believe her in their heart.